There's customers who want a monitoring solution from you. So we're monitoring their generator sets and we're managing that fleet of generators for them. We're deploying our service tech. And there's others, like in the data center space, where we see it more common, is they want to be able to do that and connect them themselves. So we build out our solutions on our onboard generator controls in order to be ready to interface with their system.
All right, welcome to another edition of Not Your Father's Data Center. I am Raymond Hawkins, and today we are joined by Brad Meissner. Brad is coming to us as a proud Boilermaker, but today Director of Product Management at Generac. Brad, tell us what in the world is going on at Generac.
Yeah, Raymond, pleasure to be on. Really enjoy joining doing things like this. So I'm happy to be here and talk to your audience and yourself. So what's going on at Generac? Pretty exciting for us in the data center space. So we haven't really been in that data center space up until about 2 months ago. We launched a product that focused on the 2.25 to 3.25 megawatt generator sets, really the backbone of the standby power generation for data centers. Perfect opportunity for us to get into the space. Obviously, there's tons of constraints right now around backup power for data centers, and really the lead time and the supply chain challenges give it the perfect opportunity to step into this. So a lot of excitement around it, a lot of excitement internally as well as externally with our customers. And that's probably the biggest news for us. Beyond that, we have just rebranded our industrial space from industrial power over to industrial energy. And that really hints at where we're going, the future of the company and the multi-asset strategy that I'm sure I'll talk more about here.
All right. So just a couple of months in, so I don't feel too embarrassed to think, hey, I didn't know Generac was in the data center business. So the fact that it's still relatively new saves me from a little bit of embarrassment. So before we get into what made you guys switch and what you're doing, why don't you back up and tell us how you got in the power business, a little bit about you, where'd you grow up, where'd you go to school, and how did you end up at Generac?
Yeah, great question. So my journey, up into the data center world and the genset world all really started kind of with my roots. So going back years ago, I was a farm kid, so was always around machinery, always wanted to tinker with stuff, and I kind of led to a love of machines. That led me to engineering school. So I went to engineering school, mechanical engineer by background, went to a school called Milwaukee School of Engineering, very closely tied with MSOE. The founder actually of MSOE, the founder of Generac, Robert Kern, had very close ties and actually been a very close donor throughout his years. Transitioned into working for another company in the generator space for about a decade out of school. Left the industry for about a year and a half, and then Generac pulled me back in about a year ago. Really exciting. I got the opportunity now to lead their entire industrial stationary line of generator sets. So, started my career as an engineer, developed the products, and then got the opportunity to be the product manager for them, which is really cool, really exciting because you kind of got to understand what the customer pain points were and then work with the engineers to actually bring those solutions to life. And that's really what I enjoy about what I do today.
So when you said farm kid, did you grow up in Indiana or did you grow up in Wisconsin?
I grew up in Wisconsin, yes. I've always been from Southeast Wisconsin. So
all right.
I grew up in Southeast Wisconsin, went to school in downtown Milwaukee, and still live in the area today.
So we probably should dedicate a couple of minutes to talk about Summerfest. I mean, you can't grow up in Southeast Wisconsin and not talk a little Summerfest. Come on.
Oh, Summerfest is fantastic and actually really exciting.
This is what I'm talking about. Let's get to the Summerfest. I want to hear your best Summerfest story, the best act you've seen at Summerfest. Come on.
Oh boy, the best concerts. I don't know if I have a best one. There's a lot of great ones. It was really cool back when I was in high school. You get there early and you hang out right by the front of the stage. You get the opportunity to smack people's hands and stuff like that from the band. It was great. So it was almost like a ritual. And now they do it over a couple of weekends. They break it up. Back when I was in high school, it was like a 11 or 12 day stretch. And it was just like a grind. You had to go every single day and see your friends there and get there early. So it was a blast. It's kind of cool to go relive that and really exciting. Now, Generac is actually a sponsor for one of the stages. So during the event, Generac sponsors a whole bunch of different events and stuff going on.
Well, the PR team's going to be proud of us for working Generac into Summerfest. That was brilliant. Nicely done. I did not know they broken up into weekends. Yeah, I guess I've been a half dozen times and done the marathon you're talking about, right? Okay. 6 or 7 days in a row and, 9 different acts in a day, and you're dehydrated, and you just figure out, how am I going to get enough fluids in me before I go back tomorrow? Good stuff. You probably have one great embarrassing Summerfest story, but can make sure your PR team.
Yeah, we should save that for a later date.
We'll make sure the PR team lets us play this episode, so we won't make you get into that. All right, back to Generac. So you grew up in Southeast Wisconsin, went to school down in Indiana, been in an industrial business for a while, switched over to Generac. How long ago? Year-ish?
About a year and a half ago, about 18 months.
All right. And this industrial group, you said you renamed it to Industrial Energy. Is that what you guys are calling it?
Yeah. Let me give you a little bit of breakdown of the company. So really, there's 2 really big buckets for the company. There's our consumer power division. That's probably the one that most people would know us by. Again, consumer facing. We're all consumers, even if we work in industrial spaces. That's where we put most of our marketing dollars at their home standby. You might see infomercials and commercials and things like that out there for that space. And then you see a ton of them sitting next to people's houses. We're the industry leader by far in that. Really, we created that space. The industrial side of the business, which is very, very sizable. It's over $1 billion business for us. We've been in that business actually longer than we've really been in that consumer power business. And we're a leader in things like telecom generator sets. We're a leader in natural gas generator sets, but had primarily focused on the smaller end of the solution. So like our largest generator set until a couple months ago was a 2 megawatt. And that really doesn't, play in that large data center space. So we've extended up to 3.25 now, and really positioning ourselves for that mission critical space.
Gotcha. All right. So moving into larger capabilities or larger power, and moving into the data center space, is it really a response to the demand in the data center space, or is there something else to it? Was it really driven out of, man, that space is constrained over there?
So it's multiple pieces. There was the strategic partnership piece, and the engine suppliers and the alternator suppliers and the fluid packaging suppliers and stuff like that made sense. Obviously, the market opportunity opened up. It was a crowded space. There's multiple suppliers in the space. They were meeting the needs of the customers. Now, with the lead time so constrained, it was an opportunity to first step into it. And then beyond that, it's just a great growth of our core business. And our core business is generator sets. So for us to introduce a new product to the market, not just to focus on the data centers, we have a whole distribution business that focuses on things like healthcare, water treatment, large industrial sites. Because of the demand of the data center sites, they're starving for product as well. It's an opportunity for us to grow our capabilities.
So, Brad, help me understand from the residential side. It sounds like you guys are relatively new in this industrial side. Give me a breakdown, in however you guys break it down. I'm going to say residential versus industrial, but whatever categories you guys use, what does the business look like from a share of your revenues?
So I think I'm just going off the top of my head here. But based on like our earnings presentations, I think consumer power is probably just under 2/3 of the business.
Okay.
So it's certainly the largest portion of our business, but industrial is still a very sizable chunk. I think that's about 1/3 overall. The reason it's a little bit hard for me to break up is because we had so many acquisitions over the years. So up until about 2010, we were really just a generator set focused company. And now we've really evolved into a true energy technology company, both in the industrial space as well as in the consumer power space. So in fact, we bought companies like Ecobee. Ecobee is the kind of the center of our energy hub for what will become like a home energy ecosystem. We've made strategic investments into companies like Wallbox for EV charging. We have a whole energy technology company that's focused on like home energy storage, so like home energy batteries. I'm tying in with like solar systems. And then on the industrial side, we're basically having the same similar strategic acquisitions. Maybe there's not as much household names as you'd expect in the consumer side, but we have acquisitions like Blue Pillar that lead now into our Generac solutions. Last year, we bought a company focused on battery energy systems, a company focused on microgrids, and we're building out this energy ecosystem for businesses, for industrial sites. That will be like behind the meter microgrids. So that's really the future of our business, is going beyond just power generation and getting into true full energy solutions.
When you say behind the meter microgrid, at the residential level or at the industrial level? Or both?
At the industrial level.
At the industrial level.
So we have a home ecosystem and we have a industrial ecosystem as we're building out.
So, Brad, you got to forgive my ignorance. Most of the folks who listen to us are data center, centric people like myself. I don't have an appreciation for the scale of the Generac business. So, how big is that residential business?
So the overall Generac, basically the enterprise is a little over $4 billion.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So we're a sizable enterprise, S&P 500 company. We're not a small fish. So
yeah, plenty of money to invest in the industrial business. That's what I was getting at. Yeah. All right. So this industrial push, first of all, the move to get to bigger, generators, dead on, exactly right. Love that move. Can you talk me through how long has this been in the works? Hey, you guys started thinking about this 3 years ago. Walk me through not only the product development to get to the bigger, I think you said 325 is what you're at now is the big one. So walk me a little bit through the product side, but also walk me through the strategic side of the business started thinking about this 3 years ago. The business started thinking about it 18 months ago. Walk me through both the thought process as well as the product life cycle. How'd you get up to 325 on the size?
So this has been a discussion for some time. It's kind of been kicked around of what's the strategy, how do we get there, how do we add value in that space. My entrance into the discussions really happened about 18 months ago when I joined the company. So I won't speak beyond that, but really it kind of fully came to fruition about a year ago. And then we've been just rapidly entering this as quickly as we can. And that's one of the key things I'll point out about Generac. It probably sets us apart from many of our competitors is our agility. And that's really a core competency of us. So when we commit to doing something, we're going to do it with pace and very rapidly, from the way that we stand up new factories, from the way that we adjust our supply chains for things like tariff impacts, for supply chain impacts, to the way we develop our products. We really focus on that agility.
So talk to me briefly about where at least the industrial side, where is it getting manufactured today?
Yeah, so the exciting thing about Generac's manufacturing footprint is it's pretty much all relatively local to Wisconsin. So we have four industrial factories now that are all located in Wisconsin. Our headquarters in Waukesha, Wisconsin, about 20 minutes away, we have a factory called Eagle. The actual generator set for these larger ones will be produced up in a place called Oshkosh. It's about an hour and a half north of where we're at, our headquarters. And then we have another plant we just put up. It's actually our largest plant in North America, called Beaver Dam. So that's the location of it. And then our mobile business is up in Berlin, Wisconsin. So they're all within about a 2-hour drive of our headquarters. And the awesome part about that is they all feed each other, then they can all balance and shift demand, or I should say shift supply around as we need. So it's really cool to see the operations footprint of our company.
What's the likelihood I'm going to find a green-based Packer sticker inside one of my generators if I really dig? Is it possible? I mean, it just sounds like it might be possible.
No, our quality team will not let that flip.
The QC
You'll have a higher likelihood of finding a Green Bay sticker though than a Bears sticker. I think if somebody put a Bears sticker in there, they might lose their job.
That unit wouldn't function. That's right.
This is Packer country around here. So
Packer country.
Very territorial.
I get it. So Oshkosh is famous for something else too, right?
Well, there's Oshkosh Corporation up there, which I think many people might know. So,
yeah, isn't there a big air show in Oshkosh?
Oh yeah, the EAA air show. Yeah, that's huge as well.
Yeah, I think it's the largest air show in North America, or maybe even the world. So,
yep, yeah, it's exciting around here. The whole southeast Wisconsin area, kind of a buzz when that's going on during the summer.
Well, I'm amazed when they hold the show, the where they have to park the planes. There's so many planes, and you get these aerial views of, miles and miles and miles of fields where they've parked the planes because so many planes have come to town. So
yep.
I know that's a big one. All right, enough with my aviation hobby. Let's get back to Generac. So you guys are new. You got worthy competitors in the space. You've mentioned manufacturing being in here in North America. You mentioned being agile. If you got to talk directly to an end user and said, hey, why would you pick me over the guy you're used to as a product manager, I'm guessing you got a pretty solid pitch there. So I can assure you there are people who make generator decisions who listen to our podcast. So what would you say to that person trying to spec out the next gen set they're looking at?
Yeah. So I think there's a couple key pieces. Kind of like the key pillars of our strategy as we come here and bring additional value. And I think the first thing right now is solving the pain point of that lead time, that availability piece. We're hearing that the market, 50, 70, 100-week lead time, needing to put money down on generators in 2027, just this massive pain point of trying to get your standby power to get your site online. So for us, I think the piece that's really standing out to people is when we go to them and say, hey, we can get you fully packaged desks in 50 weeks. We can work with you and even reduce that after the first order and really be agile. Beyond that, the product itself is really built for that mission critical application. So the engine that we're using, it's new to the North America market. We're the strategic partner for the engine manufacturer to bring it to the US. But that's not a new engine. It's used in Asia, Europe, all the different, outside of the US territories today. And we're bringing it to the US because we really provide the service network and the support network that they need in order to do that. Plus, we have the longstanding generator set experience. That's a huge piece of it. And then the full turnkey solution. So the type of support from end to end. So from the initial quote stage to getting the proposals in front of them, to managing the project through all of our packaging suppliers, after treatment suppliers, getting it turnkey to their site, and then actually, supporting it and in the field. So we have great experience of that. We've had many direct customers. I mentioned before that we're the primary supplier to the telecom, large carriers that you can think of. We have tons of expertise in managing kind of that end-to-end business for them. So we're bringing that into the data center space.
I got two questions, and if I don't ask them both at the same time, I'll forget them. So that's why I'm going to ask both. But you can take them at whichever pace you want. One, can you tell me a little bit about the engines you said that are coming from outside the U.S. and that you're the exclusive distributor of? And then two, you said that you mentioned an end-to-end solution. Can you talk to me? You've worked with telcos, so similar environment where uptime is crucial. That's why you're there. But being able to monitor the generators and being able to understand their performance, I'm assuming you've done that on the telco side. It's a big deal on the data center side. So can you talk me through both? I know they're not terribly related, but if you can take me down both of those paths, I'd like to hear those both.
Yep. So I'll hear the engine supplier first. So our engine supplier is Baudouin. They're well known in the data center space outside of the U.S. They've become a brand probably over the last 10 years. Launching their 12M55, their 16M55.
You got to say it again for me. I didn't catch it.
The name of the supplier, Baudouin. It's French,
Baudouin.
So I might be saying it wrong. I'll be the first to admit maybe it's not.
I'm sure I'm hearing it wrong, Brad. So it's okay.
I think my French, at least in that one word, is okay. So Baudouin. So they, like I said, they produce outside of the U.S. They sell outside of the U.S. Are an international business. So, one of the strategic acquisitions we made was Pramac. They're based in Italy. They've used these engines for many years. But as they looked at bringing them to the U.S. and EPA certifying them, they had no support network for them. And they've really needed a strong partner to kind of do that sales and support piece for them. So that's why we're the exclusive partner for sales into North America.
Gotcha. So that's the engine inside your generator wrapping.
Yep.
Got it. I'm not going to try to say it because I know I'll mess it up. All right. Talk to me about monitoring of the systems and how you guys, you're already in the telco space. So I know you're familiar with it, but tell me how you're envisioning that transition to the data center side, because at the end of the day, predictive analytics, understanding maintenance, all of those things are crucial because as you know, we're the backup source, but when the utility goes down, we can't not be there. So I'm interested to hear how you guys manage that.
So there's really been two strategic things we've done to manage that. And when I say two strategic things, there's customers who want a monitoring solution from you. And we have actually telecom customers who want to do what we call managed services. So we're monitoring their generator sets and we're managing that fleet of generators for them. We're deploying our service tech and doing that piece. And there's others, like in the data center space, what we see as more common is they want to be able to do that and connect them themselves. So we build out our solutions on our onboard generator controls in order to be ready to interface with their system. So the two strategic things we did is we bought a company called Deep Sea Electronic. They're a UK-based. They're actually the largest supplier, independent supplier of generator controls into the generator space. Extremely well known, really liked by service technicians because it's easy to use. Their Deep Sea Net tools. And so that was a first piece of it. That happened in 2021, 2022 timeframe. And then we bought another company called Blue Pillar, which is now transformed into what we call our Generac Link solution. So all Generac generators above 200 kW now ship with hardware on it for monitoring. So then that cellular-based monitoring goes back to our cloud-based system, and we'll have the ability to remotely monitor any of those assets. And that really ties into that piece of doing those type of managed service type contract long-term. And so it's really up to the customer what they want. We can tailor make whatever type of solution that they need for aftermarket support or monitoring that they want.
Gotcha. So I don't mean this as a curveball. So if it is, just say we see a lot of our generators now being running HVO instead of running diesel. Yeah. How do you guys feel about that? Have you addressed that? What's your guys' thoughts on alternative fuel in the generators?
So HVO is great. It's a fantastic fuel. if you look at the properties of fuel versus traditional fossil diesel, I'll call it, really the drop-in alternative, like you can't go wrong. In the US, they all fall under what's called the AFPM D975. I forget what the acronym fully means, but traditional fossil diesel, it meets that standard, and HVO meets that standard. So our engines are ready to go with HVO if you want to fill your tank up with that. The beauty of it is they can be mixed in any percent of blend. So say you want to fill up your diesel tank with HVO on day one, because you can get it. But then in an outage period, all you can get is that traditional fossil diesel. You can dump it in there, you can fill it up. And then it's that offset in that life cycle emissions. So if your HVO is made with like waste streams of fuel, it's almost carbon neutral, which is fantastic. You still get your tailpipe emissions and stuff from a generator set. So from a local compliance perspective, you're not getting around those things. But overall, sustainability is really improved with HVO. The biggest issue right now for HVO, though, is availability. So data centers in the US, ability to get it is very constrained. Pockets of California are probably the easiest to get it right now. But I actually had issues in the past just even getting it to test my generators because availability is very scarce in Wisconsin area.
But when you're testing, no issues from a performance perspective.
No.
Like
I said, it's basically a drop-in alternative. It's negligible, and like long-term benefits on the engine, it actually can be an improvement. Yeah, it's marginal, but it's not going to degrade your engine or anything like that.
All right, so we've covered some of the very important stuff. We covered Purdue basketball when you guys were owning the Hoosiers and with E at center. Did he win 2 Players of the Year?
I think he did. I think he did win it back-to-back years. We covered Summerfest. We're going to avoid any drunk Summerfest stories to keep your PR team happy. You punted when I asked you on your favorite act. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I had a dear friend of mine that was Grateful Dead. What do they call those folks? The Deadheads that would travel with the band and follow them for a year. So this guy was, intimately aware of every note they were going to play, and he took me to see the Grateful Dead at Summerfest. And I'm like, dude, I couldn't name one Grateful Dead song. He's like, you're going to love it. And it was a hoot. It was an awfully good time. Awesome.
But,
good.
Yeah. So Grateful Dead at Summerfest was one of my dearest friends. It's probably my number one Summerfest thing. The other thing I'd say is, and you got to correct me, Brad, it was along the interstate there. It was near what I thought was a highway downtown. Am I thinking right? Isn't that right?
Yeah, there's a bridge. It's called the Hone Bridge, where Summerfest, like the entrance is right at the start of the bridge, and then it goes up over it. In fact, if you ran the marathon, you probably ran over that bridge.
Yeah. Okay. And then I can't remember is it a museum that looks like the sailboat?
Yep. Yeah, that's there. That's the art museum. The Calatrava. It's almost like bird wings.
Yeah.
I proposed to my wife right in front of it, so I know it very well.
All right, she said yes. All right, We love that. Good stuff. All right, well, man, we're excited to have help. When you say we can help with lead time, everyone's ears perk up, right? I mean, that is the issue in our space today. There's so much demand, and there's limited manufacturing capacity. So having another provider throw their manufacturing capacity, especially North American manufacturing capacity, so we're not worried about travel time, is great news for the folks in our industry. A great brand name. We know you guys know what you're doing because you've been doing it so long in the residential space. So excited to hear that. Good luck on the journey. That'll be pretty cool for you to get to lead a product into this new space with the backing of a company that's been doing something else and generating billions of revenue at it for decades. So that's a pretty cool thing to do. We look forward to watching you guys and your future success. We thank you for hanging out with us for a little bit, not only talking generators, but talking Wisconsin and Big Ten basketball. And now we know where your wife said yes. So all good stuff.
Yeah, the whole industry does now. That's fantastic.
That's right. And you're going to get people that are asking you, say, hey, I heard you asked your wife. No, all good stuff. Yeah. Brad, man, we really appreciate you hanging out with us for a little bit and talking data centers, and welcome to the space, and excited for the future for you guys. And we look forward to seeing how you guys go about helping the industry get capacity faster out the door, because, man, it does not seem to be slowing down. All right, Brad, thank you so much.
I appreciate it. My pleasure.